Gilgaboo, Gilgaboo, Gilgaboo.
Gilgaboo the Jeru as Falcheru, gus Gullas Gaccan.
Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Well, that's the better one. Try a separate lever. Chirm son and good smoo, och bodgelach the lua, och le shallen gyal na greenach British Jack na Keaton. Esh to go on the jig kay, es listen the mara fast a big Jew, be gia nyas na nya as fest na menach on, as in temperela smoo Celsius. Celsius jeg, jam. For the BK on sa tajak merach leis bodgelon angel, och ni shen slow chail fine le shallen gyal na greenach chitrish. Be gia nia hui na tui, fest na menach on, as in temperela smoo Celsius jeg. Mainly dry with a large amount of cloud, but also some bright or sunny intervals breaking through at times. Then a risk of coastal mist affecting the island this evening. Light to moderate south or southwest wind and a maximum temperature of 14 degrees Celsius. Possibly a misty start to the day tomorrow with the areas of low cloud, but improving as the day progresses, with bright or sunny spells developing, light to moderate north or northwest wind and a top temperature of 15 degrees Celsius. The outlook dry with sunny spells on Tuesday with a light to moderate mainly northeast wind, highest temperature 15 degrees Celsius. Sunrise 5:51 a.m. tomorrow, sunset 8:41 p.m. today. And riet be cherum le shallan greenach chimert leis gia nya hui fest na menach as temperela smoo Celsius jeg. Iri na grenia naimanad roche merach as lai na grenia naimanad jeg rosh nai dew.
Manx Glass and Glazing are now stocking Omnia flush sash frames. See the range at the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate. Gullas Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelg Broadcasting Committee.
Slim and weak, you got the teeth of that.
T-Rex there with Get It On. Well, something that was getting on over the weekend, was it over the weekend? Friday night it was, Friday evening anyway, is the new exhibition, the new Manx Language exhibition, which is taking place in the temporary exhibition area, hall, room, whatever you call it, at the Manx Museum in Douglas. A tremendous thing, and I went along. So today's programme, you'll hear a fair amount about that, a little bit from Kathy Clucas as well. But yeah, we'll start off with our newly nicknamed Thomas Tarvey. Any guesses as to who Thomas Tarvey is, I wonder? Well, we're about to find out. So, Tammy Lawrish, Thomas Tarvey.
Thomas Tarvey, it's so much better to be here than it is to be reassuringly dull in Tynwald as a Treasury Minister. What a lovely evening, great exhibition, opened yesterday and goes on till the beginning of October. Wonderful exhibits, quilts, newly written poems, films, lots of exhibits, jewellery based on stuff that was in the exhibition for Archibald Knox. Wonderful. People should get down here. I've enjoyed looking around and looking forward to the rest of the year. In fact, the Blend of Gaelg, the whole of the year itself, has started off well. Already you've passed a third of the way through it, and to me it's great, and it's a very important celebration. I know people like you in the Manx language community have been working nearly a decade to achieve. It was there right at the beginning of the Cheshire Gaelg's Manx language strategy, and isn't it great that the year's happening and that this exhibition is here in the Manx Museum?
And you're here, and you were here, I suppose, to officially open the exhibition on account of you being the chair of Culture Vanna.
The Caerliac, no less. So some people say it's a bit ironic that I'm probably one of the biggest writers of Manx each year, with the foreword that I write to the Culture Vanna annual report. But here's a trick. I think it's actually you and your friends who write it for me. I'm not really able to write all of that Manx myself. But it's a great privilege for nearly 10 years now to have been having the been at the chairing a wonderful group of people, doing things like the RBV Awards, and now this year and this exhibition is a real celebration of everything that's Manx. And really, our island, our country, needs to make sure that we remember that a lot of that goes back to Tynwald and the House of Keys, but also so much of that goes back to the language, and that's what we're celebrating.
And as you were opening the exhibition, you had a few words in Manx.
I did. Although I do remember that 40 years ago, Neil Fuckalas the Gare was a phrase that was used to me by an Irish farmer. So I'm not going to use those words again, except to say that hooray for the language, hooray for the Manx people, and hooray for this exhibition. Something like Gaelg, aboo, Manin, aboo, and over to you, like to come and visit the museum.
As Tashpanas aboo.
Tash and aboo. Okay.
Yes, Tashpanas aboo exhibition. Hooray for the exhibition. And it is a very interesting exhibition. It's certainly, if you have little Manx or little real concern or interest in Manx, you don't realise perhaps that you're interested in Manx. It's worth going along to the exhibition because it might just challenge you. It might persuade you that there's a lot more to this old Manx language than meets the eye or ear. So yeah, a great exhibition at the Manx Museum in Douglas, and I think it runs through till October. Right, time for Chasing Abbey and then Traeth their Burmo from Avank.
More than a radio station, a daily connection to the Isle of Man. Manx Radio.
They stay beneath the shadows. Your way of life erodes. They send you to the gallows. All that remains is your soul. And it's hard to shake, it's a deep-rooted thing. We only express it when we dance or we sing. It's like a cursed generational thing. all like the dust and those who are buzzer go skiva lahore. Togan changa, togan talam, scrace and culture, scrace na deni, calling the custards, all like the dust and those who are buzzer go skiva lahore. The door, to she ear and ha. Leave the door, to she ear and ha. Leave the door, to she ear and ha. Leave the door, to she ear and ha. I know it's only a couple, guilty of all the bad deeds. Still it hits different when I see history unfold and repeat. It's hard to shake, it's a deep-rooted thing. We only express it when we dance or we sing. It's like a cursed generational thing. Toga changa, toga talam, scrace and culture, scrace na deni, calling the custards, all like the dust and those who are buzzer go skiva lahore. Toga changa, toga talam, scrace and culture, scrace na deni, calling the custards, all like the dust and those who are buzzer go skiva lahore. Leave the door, to she ear and ha. Leave the door, to she ear and ha. Leave the door, to she ear and ha. Leave the door, to she ear and ha.
Gala's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Draeth y bermo machlyd hael yn gwylo'r Ghaelg tawog o fach ar lan y gorwel swyn o i ti gael dod. Mae'r llybrwyd treion am ei ffeithiau ar wir chwedlon i'w ei gael. Swt y feddwl llawn dy chwedlu paid o gadael y siwr. Ceri ddilyn yn lliwio law, wel ceri baratoi naw, ceri weld y môr oedd mawrion sy'n. Ceri ddilyn yn lliwio law, wel ceri baratoi naw, ceri weld y môr oedd mawrion sy'n. Dros y byd, fe gyd i weld drwy lygaid newydd siwt mae eraill yn byw. Ni fydd y daith yn llawn peryglon, gwyliau dros dy gefn o hyd. Cofiad oes na ddim dychwelyd, rôl ti adael y siwr. Ceri ddilyn yn lliwio naw, wel ceri baratoi naw, ceri weld y môr oedd mawrion sy'n. Ceri ddilyn yn lliwio naw, wel ceri baratoi naw, ceri weld y môr oedd mawrion sy'n. graig dawag o fach ar len y gorwel swyn oed i gael dod. Yn sibr o steon am ei ffeithiau arwyr chwedlo newig gair o siwt yn feddwl siant a chwelydd paid a gadael y siwr. Cer i ddyn yn lliwiau o, cer i baratoi naw, cer i weld y môr o'r mawrion sir. Cer i ddyn yn lliwiau o, cer i baratoi naw, cer i weld y môr o'r mawrion sir. Cer i ddyn yn lliwiau o, cer i baratoi naw, cer i weld y môr o'r mawrion sir. Cer i ddyn yn lliwiau o, cer i baratoi naw, cer i weld y môr o'r mawrion sir.
And that was Traeth y Bermo Beach by Ifanc, a wonderful Welsh band that, I think. Well, Andy has pondered, because he heard the Chris Thomas interview, the end of which we were saying Gaelg aboo and Tashbanas aboo and Manany aboo and all of that. Aboo in Manx means hooray or forever, that kind of feel to it. So, yes, so you would say Gaelg aboo, Manx forever, hooray for Manx. But Andy questions why boo, quite the opposite of the English. If I were at an event and cheered with the emphatic boo, I'd at least get some funny looks. Well, yes, you would, but maybe if you were at a Manx Gaelic speaking event, you would get, if you said aboo, then maybe you would have a different reaction. Anyway, what we were talking about, what Chris Thomas, or Thomas Tavy as he likes to call himself, fleet of foot Thomas, we were talking about the exhibition at the Manx Museum, and one of the curators I caught up with is Nicola Tooms.
Manx Radio!
You have co-created an exhibition about the Manx language.
That's right, yeah, co-curated with Ruth from Culture Vannon. And I have to say, it's been... I've done lots of co-curations before, and they've been interesting and nice, but it's been really good working with another organisation, another person that shares the fundamental values of what it is you're trying to do, which is tell people about Manx, get people excited about Manx, not just for, the dyed-in-the-wool Gaelg, but for, the Gaelg curious, as we like to call them, the people who, might think, oh, Manx is not quite for me, and we coax them in with some bright graphics and, teach them a little bit, and then hopefully by the time they get around the end of the exhibition, they'll be convinced.
And it does. I mean, haven't had the chance to do it, because you never have a chance at an opening like this to properly look around. I'll have to come back another day to do that. But from what I've seen, it's certainly really good to kind of capture imaginations of people that perhaps wouldn't be that aware of things. So there's a wonderful thing with little blocks with Manx, Irish and Scottish Gaelic to do the comparison. You spin the blocks around to get the different words in the different languages, which I think is very, very clever.
Yeah, I just thought it was more interesting than the typical tables that you see, in the books. And that's the thing, we didn't want to do a textbook on a wall. We wanted to do something that was a bit more fun and a bit more engaging. So I think it's probably fair to say, if you're, a really serious sociolinguist, you probably know everything that's already in this exhibition already. This is for, this is more of a light touch. So we're kind of talking a little bit about where Manx came from and the fact that it came from Irish, because people often have this idea it's just sort of Manx, but English spoken with a funny accent, and they don't realise it's a proper separate language. So we represent that with a very basic, simple language tree, just to show people how far it is from English and how it's connected to the other Celtic languages. And the likes of us, we're used to seeing that, because if you've learnt a language and you've seen the books, you've probably seen those sorts of graphics before, but lots of people haven't, and they're not aware. They just they have had this expression, oh, is it not just English with a T brown accent? They don't understand that it's its own separate language, and it came there's this real interest, isn't there, in going out and looking at kiaulls. Well, it came to the Isle of Man at the same time that the Irish brought Christianity to the Isle of Man. They brought their language to the Isle of Man, so that really interests people. And you hook them on with a little bit of information like that, and they all of a sudden, their interest is piqued. So that's what we're trying to do, really, just pique people's interest with those little engaging moments.
My biggest disappointment with this exhibition is you haven't addressed the question which has been bothering me ever since I was asked to give a talk about the language and started digging into places I probably shouldn't have bothered going. And that is, what language did Manannan and Maclear speak? Was it Welsh or was it Manx or an early form of Manx?
Well, I mean, if he was a god, he was probably omniscient. He probably spoke all the languages. So, yeah, he probably could speak fluent Manx to a Manxman and fluent Welsh to a Welshman, I'd imagine, yeah.
Manx Radio.
Well, there we are. So that was Bob Marley, and before that we heard from Nicola Tooms, and we'll be returning to that conversation about Manannan shortly. And the reason I'm playing Bob Marley, I've actually got two Bob Marley tracks in the programme, is in part as a thank you to Joe from Ghana for inviting me to a Ghanaian, well, the end at least of a Ghanaian church service which was taking place today. And yeah, a wonderful event it was too. Lots of singing in languages from Ghana, and very interesting. Right, that of course was our cue for a Manx track, and a reminder to me that I need to do an update on the weather. Well, the Manx track, I can tell you, is going to be Clash Fua and Sliamsa. It's mine. Oh no, it's not, it's Crosh Voaldyn. Crosh-Fallon, which I think Stephen Miller was talking about the Crosh-Fallon last week, the Boaldyn cross, the bone from the Boaldyn fish. Anyway, back to the weather. Chirm son chud smú ach báideach the lua ach le Keggin-Gell na gríanach brisisteach as to go on the be K eslis na mara fast big Jew as mar in the verach as be a chirm le Shelan gríanach Chammah. So mainly dry with large amounts of cloud, but also some bright or sunny intervals breaking through. Risk of coastal mist this evening and to start with tomorrow, and then dry with sunny spells on Tuesday. Right, let's hear from Clashfua and Crosh-Fallon.
Gala's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
För de vägen kvinna. Tammy fag and smoke room. That's creepy, yeah.
As for shen, Clash Fua, Oie Voaldyn, the name of the song, by Clash Fua, and a wonderful piece of music it was too, and still is. Graham said, I think after the Avank song, I had a jolly good jig to that one. Yindyssagh, what is jolly in Gaelg? And jolly in Gaelg is Gennel, but there's a few other jolly words which we'll come across or come to short. This is Eloise by Barry Ryan.
Every night I'm there, I'm always there. She knows I'm there, and heaven knows I hope she goes. I find it hard to realize that love was in her eyes. It's dying now. She knows I'm crying now. And every night I'm there, I break my heart to please Eloise. Eloise. You know I'm on my knees, yeah. I said, please, you're all I want, so hear my prayer, my prayer. My Eloise is like the stars that please the night, the sun that makes the day, that lights the way. And when that star goes by, I'll hold it in my hands and cry, her love is mine, my sun will shine. Every night I'm there, I break my heart to please Eloise. Eloise. You're all I want, you got to hear my prayer. My Eloisa, I'd love to please her, I'd love to care, but she's not there. And when I find you, I'd be so kind, you'd want to stay. I know you'd stay. And as the days grow old, the nights grow cold, I wanna hold
That's a very lively, well, entertaining piece of music. Eloise by Barry Ryan. Well, we've been hearing the interview with Nicola Tooms, and I was gently teasing Nicola about the fact that the burning question that I'm asking or pondering at the moment, which is what language did Manannán mac Lia speak, because he's known in both Gaelic and Welsh legends. So, yes, interesting. So we'll catch up or carry on the conversation I had with Nicola. Because he existed at a time when Q Celtic language was starting to stray from the P Celtic language, and possibly he spoke both languages or could understand both languages, which I think is quite fascinating, and it's that kind of, interesting, I was going to say fact, because it's not even a fact, it's a postulation maybe, that possibly catches imaginations from people. Actually, you've heard of Manannán mac Lia, but did he really exist? And if he did exist, what language did he speak? And and you've done that really well with all the other elements to the exhibition of getting people to ask a few questions about things.
Yeah, I think that actually maybe I haven't considered about what language Manannán might have spoken, but when you start to reimagine the people of the past speaking Manx, if you think about their movements, think about the things they did, and then remember the noise that would have been coming out of their mouth would have been a Manx language. And so some people are surprised to see James Stanley there, and we've got him there because he was known as Stan Lachmú, and I'll leave people to decide whether they thought the Manx were being sarcastic when they were calling him the Great Stanley or not. But that people were using that, and the sundial in there that shows you that if you really wanted to show off to your neighbours about your travels and you were a serious merchant and you did business in Port Jamaica and all over the world, you still had to put Manx on it if you were going to effectively show off to your neighbours, because that's what they understood. They wouldn't have understood the English or the Latin that's on it. So it helps you remember that the voices of those people were Manx voices.
And I guess you're hoping that as many people will come to this exhibition as possible. Manx speakers, obviously, but everyone else as well.
Yep, I hope that people will come. They'll come to the museum, and I love the idea that someone might come visit and not know that Manx even exists. Maybe they've just got off the boat and they've just moved here, or maybe they're a visitor, or maybe they've been here a while and not had the opportunity to engage. And I like the idea they'll come and they'll go, oh, what's this about? And it'll feel welcoming. They'll realise that it's for them. And they can go away just maybe having learned a few Manx words for mua, beg and ben and do. So we haven't got high ambitions. We don't think anyone's going to leave a fluent speaker, but they might leave with one or two words, and then they might leave with some words that they might then spot around the Isle of Man, like cronk and balla. So yeah, and then they might just leave with a bit of an interest. But I think as well, even for the Manx speaker, there's something in here for you. If you're interested, there's Harry Kelly's Bibles in there, so Doug Varriger's typewriters in there. So I think some people will get a thrill out of seeing that. So yeah.
Well, you managed to coach the chair of Manx National Heritage into saying a few words in Manx.
I did, yeah, I did, yeah, and I'm gonna get some more. Yeah, I've really noticed a really positive cultural change. Like I'd say the same sort of cultural change that's been happening, we've noticed happening around the island, has sort of also been happening here at MNH. So I'm getting people stopping me. The lady that works in the shop today was saying, oh, could you just help me with my Manx pronunciations? I really want to get this right. I really want to, speak Manx to people. And that's not me going about telling people, oh, have you changed your signature on your emails yet? Have you been greeting people in Manx today? They're asking me, and that's a really positive change that you can see, that people, they want to learn a bit and they're keen to use what they do know. So yeah, I think it's going in the right direction.
And actually, you've just reminded me on the way in, every single MNH member of staff greeted me with Fasta Mai, which was wonderful.
Yeah, and I believe it or not, I haven't gone round and threatened them. They're excited. They like to be able. They know that there's going to be Manx speakers here tonight, and they're really thrilled at the idea that they can use the Manx that they've been learning. So yeah, it's great.
Well, Guramai Morad son Lortrish, Guller's Gaccan.
Shade of A.
And that was Nicola Tooms there with, a little bit of an explanation about the wonderful exhibition at Manx National Heritage, which you can go and enjoy. That's at the Manx Museum in Douglas. I think it runs all the way through to October. Graham asked about jolly. The word gennel is the word for jolly, and gennel has quite a few meanings. It can be amenable, blithesome, cheerful, convivial, genial, glad, good-humoured, jocular, jolly, jovial, merry, or merry-hearted, mirthsome, and possibly even frolicsome. But it's time for this.
All I wanted was a sweet distraction for an hour or two. Had no intention to do the things we've done. Funny how it always goes with love. When you don't look, you find. But then we're two of a kind. We move as one. We're an all-time high. We'll change all that's gone before, doing so much more than falling in love. On an all-time high, we'll take on the world and win. So hold on tight, let the flight begin. I don't want to waste a waking moment. I don't want to sleep. I'm in so strong and so deep, and so are you. In my time I've said these words before, but now I realize my heart was telling me lies. For you they're true. We're an all-time high. We'll change all that's gone before, doing so much more than falling in love. On an all-time high, we'll take on the world and win. So hold on tight, let the flight begin. So hold on tight, let the flight begin. We're an all-time
Well, that was Rita Coolidge with All Time High, and this is Paul Simon, still crazy after all these years.
I met my old lover on the street last night. She seemed so glad to see me. I just smiled, and we talked about some old times, and we drank ourselves some beers. Still crazy after all these years. Oh, still crazy after all these years. I'm not the kind of man who tends to socialize. I seem to lean on old familiar ways. And I ain't no fool for love songs that whisper in my ears. Still crazy after all these years. Oh, still crazy after all these years. Four in the morning, crapped out, yawning, longing my life away. I never worry, why should I? It's all gonna fade. Now I sit by my window and I watch the cars. I fear I'll do some damage one fine day. But I would not be convicted by jury of my peers. Still crazy after all these years. Oh, still crazy. Still crazy. Still crazy after all these years.
Manx Radio Weather with Manx Glass and Glazing.
Well, Chirm son Chudsmoo, och Bodgelach the Lua, och le Shell and Ghaelg na Greenach, British Jack na Keaton, Eshta Gow on the Jig, K.S. listen the matter fast a big Jew, be Gia, Nyas na Nya as fast na Mianach on as and temporarily smooth K.S. as is Jeg. For the BK on Tajach, Merach, leis Bodgelyn, Angel, och ni shen slow chael fine leis Shell and Ghaelg na Greenach chitrish. Be gia nia hui na tui fast na mianach on as in temperatural smooth queg Celsius jeg. Mainly dry with large amounts of cloud, but also some bright or sunny intervals breaking through at times, and a risk of coastal mist affecting the island this evening. Light to moderate south or southeast winds and a maximum temperature of 14 degrees Celsius. Possibly a misty start to the day tomorrow with the areas of low cloud, but improving as the day progresses with bright or sunny spells developing. Light to moderate north or northwest wind and a top temperature of 15 degrees Celsius. The outlook, dry with sunny spells on Tuesday with a light to moderate mainly northeast wind. Highest temperature 15 degrees Celsius. Sunrise 5:51 a.m. tomorrow, sunset 8:41 p.m. today. En riet, bia chirm le Shell and Greenach gemurt les gia nya hui fest na mianach as temperatural smoo queg Celsius jeg. Iri na grenia naimana droshe marach as lai na grenia naimana jeg rosh na Jew.
If you're looking for supply-only double or triple glazed units, make sure you visit the Manx Glass and Glazing showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate or call 674 573. Guller's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
The Kinks now. Sunny afternoon.
The taxman's taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sail my yacht, he's taken everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon. trying to break me. And I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. My girlfriend's run up with my car and gone back to her ma and pa, telling tales of drunkenness and cruelty. Now I'm sitting here, sipping at my ice cool beer, blazing on the sunny afternoon. Help me, help me, help me sail away. Well, give me 2 good reasons why I ought to stay. 'Cause I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime. Ah, save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama trying to break me, and I love to live so pleasantly, live this life of luxury, lazing on a sunny afternoon in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime, in the summertime.
That's nice to think that we will be lazing on sunny afternoons, and maybe the rest of the year is going to look hot and sunny and nice and pleasant. The kinks are certainly pointing us in that direction.
And I'm sure I heard them saying it like that.
And that's nonsense. Never heard it like that at all.
Well, this'll have to be one of those for Kane's place name campaign, don't you think?
Well, of course I think. I always think if herself tells me it's time for something to happen, then it must be. And because of the Oie Voaldyn reference, Oie Voaldyn, the big fire festival taking place in Peel on Sunday, I thought we would go to Braddon and up the Baldwin Valley, because of course, J.J. Neen at the very least has the following derivation for Baldwin. So it first appears in the manorial roll back in 1511, the place name, as Baldal, and it continues on that vein in 1643, but by 1703 it's Boaldyn, and then 1734 Boaldyn, and eventually it became Baldwin, and the Manx form Boaldyn. So Scandinavian word balda means homestead or dale. Yes, J.J. Neen is tempted in this direction now, but maybe not completely. It is tempting to derive this name from the Irish Beltane, the summer festival of the Celts. The Manx form is Boaldyn, which is pronounced exactly like the Boaldyn Manx version of the name Baldwin. And the proximity, of course, to the ancient Tynwald Hill, because there is a Tynwald Hill site just up from Baldwin. But the theory, whilst alluring, may be just that. There's no real evidence. The early forms are against this derivation, J.J. Nin suggests. But a nice thought, and I quite like these what would you call it? Flights of fancy that take us into romantic directions about things that probably never were. But it's a good story. Anyway, it's time for a bit of music, and we're going to hear the Mull song, which is primarily in Gaelic by the group that I used to be part of, but I'm not on this particular track. This is Skeal. And then after that, we'll hear from Hector, and I think he's from Asturias. And yes, a very, I think, a lovely piece of music. And then we'll hear from Kathy Clucas, who'll be talking about Oie Voaldyn Veg, the Oie Voaldyn for the children, which is taking place on the 3rd of May from 4 p.m.
On smart speaker, on apps, online and on air. This is Manx Radio.
O Chammah is talk faun. Mo cria traum mein jo, me fato helen and af down, svo hier nan grounds nan galan. O beren tori schon is fluam, har juan is kroig is vianef, junse mulen am bian fue, o elan wain je vari. O Chammah is toch gefaun, mo cria traum mein jo, mi fato helen and af down, so hier nan gauns nan galan. Chammah is toch gefaun, mo cria traum mein jo, mi fato helen and af down, so hier nan gauns nan galan. O shoot na glins nam feitje neu, na ruin kam dove na mare, sa look mo Ghaelg, san jumas Ghaelg, san touch for her sing. O Chammah is talk found, mo cria traum mein jo, mi fato helen and af down, so here nan gauns nan galan.
Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
Cuando oigo tocar la gaita y oigo sonar aquellos tiempos de cuando yo era pequeño, que llegaba mi papá a casa, desencolingaba la gaeta, ponía el fuelle aquí, el puntero así, soplaba y sonaba así. Soy de Langreo, mira que soy langreano, mira que soy Soy de Langreo y de noche voyme de ronda y de día voy pa'l Al pasar por el puente la gorra mi cayó, ay de la mi gorrina toda se mi murió. Toda se mi murió, donde la ensugaré, si la tiendo en un bardo se mi puede romper. Si la tiendo en la arena se mi puede manchar, ay de la mi gorrina que muy adinata. Si la tiendo en la lumbre se mi puede quemar, y si la tiendo al aire se mi puede escapar. Se mi puede escapar, donde la ensugaré, ay de la mi gorrina no sé lo que hacer. La gaita no la vendo, no la puedo vender, y el único consuelo que tiene la mi mujer
So with your other hat on then, which is the Oie Voaldyn committee member hat, what's going on there?
Right, so this year it's going to be on Sunday the 3rd of May, and it's a bank holiday the next day, so it's a long weekend, which is always good. And touching wood, my Nanan is always very good to us with the weather. We might get a bit of a cloak sometimes, but other than that, it's always pretty good. So there's a few different things going on. So in the day, there'll be music and there'll be Manx dancing on stage. At Spit Corner, or Weatherglass Corner as it's called in Peel, there'll be food stalls, there'll be a few charities there, there'll be a craft tent where children can make things, there'll be face painting. There's also going to be storytelling, and I think, it hasn't been confirmed yet, but there ought to be a tour of Peel in Manx as well. So that should be going on. And at 4 p.m, we have an Oie Voaldyn, which is going to be a fancy dress costume parade. And the main themes are Sarah, which is summer, and Gara, winter. That's it. Nothing too complicated. And we're going to have prizes for the best dressed family, best dressed winter or summer buggy, pram, best 5 and under, best 8 and under, best 12 and under for both seasons. So lots of opportunity. So where we're gathering is outside off the Black Dog Pizza on the East Quay, and we'll be starting off from 4. Now this year it's going to be very exciting because we have got some Shetlanders coming all the way down from Shetland to take part, and they'll be at the head of the parade. So I believe they're all very big, probably very loud as well. I've never met them, the Kiaull squad. They sound great, and they're going to be our fancy dress judges as well. So don't be scared, children. It should be fun. And they'll be, like I say, leading the parade, and we'll be leaving there at 4. They will be going onto the beach, and there will be, because it's the year of the Manx language as well, we're going to do not a battle between summer and winter, but a sort of different battle, a sing-off and a dance-off. So the sing-off is, we've got the words and the music, which is on, there's on the Oie Voaldyn Facebook page, there's a poster there, you can get that, or it goes straight onto the Oie Voaldyn website. And I think will I need to spell it out, Oie Voaldyn?
Probably. I was just thinking that would be a useful
I
thing.
know, I know it, but possibly right. So I'll spell it out, I'll spell it very slowly. Oie Voaldyn. If you type that in, you'll easily find our website, and all the information's there, but also on our Facebook page. And you might get Isle of Man Fire Festival, might be another way you might find it as well, if you put that in. So the sing-off, there's all the songs are there, so children can listen to them, and you can put them on your phone and everything if they want to have a go beforehand. But you'll soon get the hang of it. And we've got Julie Matthews helping. She's agreed to be the MC for the event. And we'll have our clapometer, which will be see who wins. Is it going to be Sarah or Gara? And then there'll be a dance-off, and we'll be dancing off to a tune that most people will know if they've been on the steam packet, which is A Boat in the Morning by Nicola.
Good.
And so we'll be judging. Everyone will be clapping, taking part. So obviously this is why we've got the clapometer. Which season gets the loudest cheers. So we've got 3 grades. The either can be Mai, which is good, Fiavai, which is very good, or yindyssagh, which is great or wonderful. So, and whoever gets that, they're obviously the winner. So it should be a good fun. It'll be organised chaos, I will say that. If people have got prams, we've got all these Shetlanders that will help us, I'm sure, carry any prams onto the beach.
Good.
Sand and wheels don't always work very well, but it'll be fine. Everything will be fine. It'll be wonderful.
Gosh, that was a bit of a shock. Yes, that's the new Manx Radio logo, and it describes itself as a strong one. It certainly was. It woke me up anyway. So yeah, we were listening there to Kathy Clucas talking about the Oie Voaldyn event that will be taking place on next Sunday, the 3rd of May. And before that we heard from Hector. I can't remember the fella's second name. I have the CD, so maybe I'll look it up and tell you next week. And I'm fairly sure he's from either Asturias or Galicia. But beautiful piece of music, I thought. Anyway, let's hear now from Lewis Capaldi, one of the modern pieces of music that I thought, well, yes, go on, we'll leave one modern piece of music in. So Lewis Mark Capaldi, a Scottish singer, songwriter and musician.
On smart speaker, on apps, online and on air. This is Manx Radio.
Oh love,
I'm a mess right now. Can you help me out? 'Cause it's all gone south. Oh love, make the hurt not hurt. 'Cause the pills don't work, they just make it worse. So when the rights are going wrong and I'm barely holding on, baby, hear when I say, oh, won't you stay, love? When everybody's leaving, come on, stay, love. To get me through the evening, oh, I pray, love, that you'll always be the one. And when the road gets rough, don't give up on us, and this could stay, love. Oh, life can be cruel sometimes. It's the perfect crime with an alibi. And I try to make it on my own, but that's a fighter's fight. And I'm the loving type. Oh, so when the rights are going wrong and I'm barely holding on, baby, hear when I say, oh, won't you stay, love? When everybody's leaving, come on, stay, love. To get me through the evening, you know I pray, love, that you'll always be the one. And when the road gets rough, don't give up on us, and this could stay, love. Stay, love. Oh, if the world is weighing on your back, all your colours fade to grey and black, oh my darling, I just hope you know that I'll stay low. When everybody's leaving, yeah, I'll stay low. To get you through the evening, oh, I pray, love, that you'll always be the one. And when the road gets rough, I won't give up on us, so won't you stay, love? When everybody's leaving, come on, stay, love. To get me through the evening, oh, I pray, love, that you'll always be the one. And when the road gets rough, don't give up on us, and this could stay, love.
If you've got children and they want you with them, well, hopefully, yes, that's not a problem, but hopefully you'll dress up as well with your children. It would be nice, you know, a few flowers in the hair or a bit of snowflakes, whatever.
Bit of ice.
Well, you know, it's, yeah, in however you want to interpret summer and winter, Sour and Gowra, yes, that's it.
And of course, again, for those who don't know, traditionally on May, is it May? It is May Eve, isn't it?
It is May. Oie Voaldyn is May Eve. Yeah.
So on May Eve, there was a battle between summer and winter, and last year summer definitely won because we had a cracking year for my vegetable garden. The year before, I think winter might have won because it was wet and miserable for the whole blooming summer.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it was thought that this was a really important time of the year, and that battle between summer and winter, you really hoped that summer would win, so that you would actually have a reasonably productive year in terms of your harvest.
Yeah. Well, the earliest write-up about it was in Waldron, and that was in the sort of the 1700s. But there was something in the Castle Russian papers that said there was a purchase of some gunpowder for May. It's quite a lot of gunpowder. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was enough to make a big bang for bringing in the May, which was sort of to do with that sort of thing as well, and having this battle. But it also happened in Scandinavian countries. They have this mock battle between summer and winter. And that was written about in the 1500s by Olaus Magnus. So, yeah, there's a sort of, it might be a remnant from our, you know, Scandinavian ancestry a little bit of a mix and match, And then we've got all these other things. May Eve are associated with the cross kerns, your rowan ash crosses over the doorway and on the cattle and
yes,
all the rest of it. Yeah,
I did a couple of years when I was working at Cregnish. I tied cross kerns on the tails of the cattle, as you were supposed to do.
But what did the cattle think of that?
Well, all the cross kerns were... Now, whether this was my skill or lack of it in tying them onto the tails or whether it was just the cows didn't like it, the cross kerns were all lying on the ground the following morning. But yeah, you did that. You put cross kerns above thresholds. You scatter yellow flowers on thresholds. That was all the kinds of things, wasn't it?
Yeah, the sort of things they did, and then there was some. They definitely did this in Ireland, and there are some couple of cases in the Isle of Man where they drove the cattle through the smoke to sort of. I suppose purify them, but I think it's like a bit like a disinfectant, really. Yeah. So, and that's and they do that in other countries too. For that, because the cattle often were kept in, weren't they, for the winter?
Yeah.
And when they brought them out, So, but that's all different things. So, Oie Voaldyn is sort of celebrating all these this sort of time of year. It's the opposite of Ehauna, Hop Tune. Which most of us know about, but not many people know so much about Oie Voaldyn or May Eve. But more and more are.
Well, they certainly are very well informed now, thanks to you coming on the programme. So, Guramayu. Oh, sorry for cutting Kathy off just in her prime there. And that was Kathy Clucas. And yes, go along to the Oie Voaldyn celebration on next Sunday and listen to Gullis Gaccan while you're there for the first couple of hours at least. Anyway, what have we got next? Well, that was our cue, of course, for the weather. It's also our cue for a Manx track. And I'm hopeful that we'll be able to give you both. Yes, indeed we will. We've got McTulloch Vannon coming up shortly with Craig Willie's Hill. A reasonably lively jiggy about the kitchen number, so be warned. But in terms of the weather, Chirm son chud smoo och Bardulach the Lua, les shall and Grianach nishes reach, to go on the jig K, listen the mara, foddy the BK on Savora Nies, och ni shaw slow chail fine lay, as be Chirm les shall and Grianach Jamert. So mainly dry with large amounts of cloud, but some bright or sunny intervals breaking through at times. Then coastal mist coming in this evening, overnight and into tomorrow morning, probably, with brighter sunny spells developing, and then dry with sunny spells on Tuesday. So let's hear from McTulloch Van, a little unseasonable. Craig Willie's Hill tends to be associated more, with the Christmas dances. But anyway, here goes.
Gullis Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
McTulloch Vannon there with Craig Willie's Hill. Very, well, not too lively, and enough to get a mild bit of the heart racing, but there we are, McTulloch Vannon. And the other co-creator of the Manx Language exhibition that was opened on Friday evening and is running through till October. It was Ruth Keggin-Gell, sometimes of this programme. And I caught up with Ruth, and we'll have the two parts to that interview interspersed with the Tubeway Army, Our Friends Electric. So let's have a listen to Ruth. Tommy Lawrish Ruth and Tommy Lawrish Ruth och signed law on Burl. So talking to Ruth Keggin-Gell, and you are one of the co-creators. What's the curators? I wanted to call them creator. I think co-creators is fine, isn't it? Of this exhibition. What were you trying to get out of this?
Well, Nicola and I, as co-curators, I think really both wanted to make the exhibition as accessible to people as possible. So we, at the end of the day, wanted to create something that helped to explain to people what Manx is, that it's a community language that is alive and kicking, but has also been really historically important and spoken in the Isle of Man for 1,500 years. And we wanted to weave in different collection items from Manx National Heritage's wonderful collections, as well as contemporary items, both digital and physical, that show how Manx is being used now. We really tried to make it bright and contemporary, so we've used the colours of the Blaine na Gaelg, Year of the Manx Language logo, bright pink, hot pink, plum purple, bright yellow, and a sort of teal-y turquoise colour to really sort of give a vibrancy to it. And then we've tried to sort of weave lots of different things through it, really, including video and audio. And it's also fully accessible because there's a Braille version of the whole exhibition. There's a large print version. There's sound files. If you were to go on through a QR code, you can hear the entire exhibition being read out as well in Manx and in English. And then crucially for Manx speakers, everything is in Manx as well as in English, and that was super important to us. It's been a bit of a dream working with Nicola because both of our values are the same. We both kind of think in quite similar ways. We both wanted the exhibition to be, vibrant and exciting and feel like it would appeal to all ages. We really wanted it to show that the language is alive and kicking, and we didn't want it to seem stuffy or, something read about in books. We wanted to let people know that, it's exciting. It's a really exciting scene to be part of. So with the various things that Nicola and I had both seen when we've gone on our travels into different museums, and there were things like I saw in New Zealand in a fantastic museum there called Te Papa in Wellington. They had for the different Pacific languages that are spoken, like Te Reo Maori, they had all these different Pacific languages, and they had a roller spinner thing, and you could link up the cognates, the words that sound the same. And so we've done the same for Manx, Irish and Scottish Gaelic, albeit probably far less sophisticated than the one in Wellington because they've got a really big budget, but it's really fun. And so people can spin and match up the words, and all of those are in Braille as well, so people can, feel their way through that as well. And we've done audio buttons as well for all the words. So there's me, there's Molly Guidera, who's she's an Irish language influencer called Irish with Molly. And then there's Joy Dunlop from Scotland, who's recorded as well. So you can hear all the three words, the cognates being read out as well. So you can really hear the similarities. So there's a lot that's gone into it. And we've loved working on it.
myself about little deals and issues, things that I just don't understand. I could white light at night, so it's like touch at times. I don't think I mean anything to you.
And what's your favourite bit, would you say? Or, I mean, is it all a favourite?
It's a funny one. I think, oh gosh, I mean, it's all different. I think that'll change from day to day, depending on what mood I'm in when you ask me. But at the moment, I really enjoy the section where there's a focus on 4 different words. And those words are do, which is black, ben, which is white, muir, which is great or big or great, and beg, which is small or tiny. And what we've tried to do there is we tried to use items from the collections for Manx National Heritage to illustrate those words by showing things that are black and white and showing things that are huge and big, and then showing things that are really little. And that's really fun because everyone loves little things, don't they? And they're looking at this case and it's got all these little tiny things in, and some of them actually have the word beg in their Manx name. We have items that are big, like Duan Mua, which is a great blackback Goll, for example, and then Stanlach Mua, which is the great Stanley, so his big portrait. And that in itself is a little bit controversial. We wanted to do things that would get people talking because, of course, James Stanley, you know, he was known mockingly as in Stanlach Mua, the great Stanley, by the Manx people. So it wasn't necessarily they thought he was great. And then we've got these big words on the wall, which again, I just sort of, me and Nicola came up with and thought, let's paint them and, you know, big words for moor and little words for beg, and then for ben and do, we've got them painted in white and black respectively, and they sort of curve around and use the space in an interesting way. So I suppose that's my favourite bit at the moment, but maybe ask me next week and see if I change my mind.
And the other thing I should say is, even for people like myself who really struggle without a magnifying glass these days, the print is big enough to read, and it's a good size. And you've obviously done a lot to try and make this as accessible an exhibition as possible.
I think it's really important. I mean, obviously, both you and I are at least bilingual. I know you also speak some Irish and some Welsh as well, and I've got some French. But I think when you start thinking about things as somebody who speaks more than one language, you realise that just actually languages is all about communication. Doesn't really matter how much or little of something you can speak. If you have a go, you can really communicate with people. And communication for me is probably the most important thing. And I just thought, why wouldn't we try and make this as accessible as possible? Why wouldn't we have the whole thing in Braille? Why wouldn't we have it in large print? And down to the videos as well, you know, you've got the sound on them too, but we've subtitled everything, even if we're speaking in English in the videos too, because we want people to be able to access that. If they are, for example, deaf, they can read what's going on the screens. So yeah, it was really, really important to us. And I've learned a lot along the way. I've worked closely with Natasha Molyneux-Smith from Dot and Type, and she is an accessibility instructor. She's absolutely amazing. She was a dream to work with, and just made the whole thing. She was so generous with her knowledge, and just, a wonderful experience. Really enjoyed it.
Well, go to my moyu son Olio Nobba to an yinu shorty Tommy Smunion the Valley yindyssagh.
Go my mored Phil or type Keggin-Gell.
Well, Keggin-Gell, yes, it's a great exhibition and well worth going. Cum Dty Hengey, mind your language. And that's at the Manx Museum in their temporary gallery. And one of the people who I saw there was Bobby Bob, and he's waiting in the Gaelg studio to entertain you, as only Bob can. Well, that's just about us. We got Queen next with We Will Rock You, and then I did say I was going to have another Bob Marley track. This one is No Woman, No Cry, and that was just as a little thank you to the Ghanaian community that entertained me earlier today.
Buddy, you're a boy, make a big noise, playing in the street, gonna be a big man someday. You got mud on your face, you big disgrace, kicking your can all over the place, singing, We will rock you. We will rock you. Buddy, you're a young man, hard man, shouting in the street, gonna take on the world someday. You got blood on your face, a big disgrace, waving your banner all over the place. We will rock you. Sing it out. We will rock you. Buddy, you're an old man, poor man, pleading with your eyes, gonna make you zombie someday. You got mud on your face, big disgrace, somebody better put your bag into your place. We will rock you. Sing it. We will rock you. Everybody, we will rock you. We will rock you. All right.
Guller's Gaccan, brought to you by the Gaelic Broadcasting Committee.
as it was.